Hello. Morning. It's ours. Leave it. Okay.
Now, Matt.
Yeah.
You don't know how bloody true that is, mate. Right.
Do you know what the film's about, Matt? Not DSC by any chance.
No. Okay.
We've been filming for a year, Alan. Why can't we tell him?
Don't force me into it. You know, because I'm just a bit embarrassed about it, okay? That's the thing, okay?
After all this time?
Well, the thing is, you never know what people's response to this sort of thing is going to be. They could be very frightened. They could be very concerned. They might not have had any experience of this sort of thing at all. I think it's the sort of thing where you need to know where you are with someone before you talk about this. It's not something that you can just, you know, sort of wham into. If we look at it in the cold light of day, there I was, a successful, accomplished, well-known university heart researcher with a nice wife, a nice house, 3 children, a nice family life. Is there really something so different, so strange about me that it's got me into this state? Do I deserve this?
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Right. Well, so I would like to know what's going on with bedtime. It would be very
Anna is
interesting.
going at 1:30, and when Simon.
I have in fact got to finish cutting the grass. I haven't
Simon.
grounded that yet.
Bed. Bedtime. Say good night.
Good night.
Come on. Mush.
They've read in the newspapers about people who have shot people or killed people, you know, because they've had schizophrenia or manic depression, right?
If people are saying to you, what's the film about?
Mm.
And you're not saying what it's about,
Mm-hmm.
then you're lying.
I'm not.
It is.
No,
It's a lie by omission. And it's
not a lie.
You know, you're not saying something because you don't want them to know you have a mental illness. I mean, that's the bottom line.
But we all know that people have very different reactions to mental health illnesses than they do to physical illnesses.
One of the reasons is lack of education and lack of awareness.
Right, well, this film then is helping to educate.
But
I don't intend to do...
going alongside it is educating people yourselves as well.
Well, I'm afraid that'll have to come a little later. I'm not quite
Ready
up
for
to
it.
that myself, though.
No.
I'm not going to go into car club and say, oh, hello, I'm Alan Levy, I have manic depression.
Nobody's asking you.
Oh, hello, can I join the car club? I have manic depression. You know, I'm not gonna.
But that's.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. How are you? I have manic depression.
If somebody asked me what it was about, then
I don't know. What would you say?
I'd say what it was about. So it's about manic depression.
And I'm the one who has a diagnosis of manic depression. I should at least be consulted about what he said.
Play it by ear, dear.
Well, or by microphone at least.
Yes.
Good night, camera. Right, I've got everything. Right, it's raining. So, there was definitely a period when I thought to myself, oh God, you know, my reputation is in ruins. I mean, everybody must know, and how am I ever going to get another job? How can you get suspended from a university? By doing something terrible. You know, not just by having hypomania,
and, you know, upsetting a few people because you're over-enthusiastic about things. But it's very difficult because how do you pick out that their behaviour is abnormal? How can you be sure that they're not just sort of excited and inspired and passionate and full of energy and enthusiastic? Simon told me that it's going to be sunshine and showers today. How about, yeah, sunny intervals and showers? And that's my impression, isn't it?
Myself in the past, I thought that I would philosophy about
That's great. But Alan was talking about, interestingly earlier, about the number of people who are proportion of the population that may have, at some stage, a manic depressive episode.
But you've got all these people who know, who understand.
Yeah.
And I'm so aware that it tends to support, but right now I need it. If I didn't get it, I'd be like lost. But their job of once a week isn't much time.
When my dad died and I cleared out the greenhouse, I thought, I mustn't throw away Mum's wedding shoes. So
But
they're
everyone
mine
likes
now.
white.
Aren't they sweet? Always, when I get miserable, I go and work.
I used to go in the evenings and I used to go and do lots of stuff, and when I got home at sort of 3 in the morning and I'd accomplished something, I felt better. Yeah.
And I think before
Yes.
medication
Yes.
came along,
Yes.
that's how they did have
Yes.
to
I'm sure.
break it through.
Then every time you feel
I
low,
always felt
you go and
so
work hard,
bad.
and I think it gets to be.
And then it
some-
becomes a sort of addictive.
and you
work.
become a bit of an obsessive worker, a workaholic, and so I think it does rebound on you. Yeah.
What's happened, Alan?
They do actually bite, so
We get more and more people up
Yes, there
here.
was that lady that got rabies.
It seems to be going round the light.
It's nothing to do with lights.
they don't actually like it.
Regardless of what people say, that's what it seems to be doing.
That way.
Party game.
No, it is
The bathroom.
You are the Batman. Okay. I hit Batman and Robin.
That was the first time we'd met people, listening to their tales of what happened to them. I just found it quite upsetting, really. The next day is our 20-year reunion at medical school. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that where you two met at medical school?
I thought she was a bossy sort of, overbearing.
You didn't know anything about me at medical school.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You had nothing to do with me.
You thought I was a bit of a rebel on a motorbike, didn't you?
No, I thought you were mad. Eccentric.
And you found out since that you're quite right about all those things.
Yes.
You build some and you crash them. That's it.
You know, Alan's not whiter than white.
Bit like life, you win some and you lose some.
He does like his own way and does tend to sort of do things and then say, oh, is that all right, to people. But he's always done that. You know, now he is no different than he has been for the 14 years when he's been employed by the university.
They lock this door, it's open all day, right? And at nights and weekends they lock it. I can't understand why. This is the School of Medical Sciences. Well, the lab before I moved into our new labs is up there, all those windows. All the molecules work in the cells, how the cells work, and then how the cells work together to make the organs function. Right
Well,
now,
then-
we can't go up through there, which is a pain. I'm just wondering which is the best way to go.
I think mania is the most destructive of the two sides of this illness. You cause so much disruption, both at work and at home.
But for the individual manic depressive, that's a devastating thing to say because they find the depression's so so difficult because
Black and full of despair and oh dear.
we talk about lack of insight, lack of judgment. I think that's the key part of being manic. You get excited about something, and it can be something very banal, and just start feeling elated, start feeling like you've got loads of energy, start feeling that you want to get involved in lots of different things. The first time I got manic, I decided that I would start my own business, get involved in organising concert tours. Met a guy in the pub who was in the music business, gave him a cheque for 1,500 quid that I couldn't really afford. then disappeared off the face of the earth because I was taken into hospital.
Could it have actually happened, this concert tour, though? Could it have actually happened?
No.
No?
No, not in a million years.
No, right, okay. So it was... Because sometimes people actually have very viable ideas.
Now then. Yeah, pretty good.
So what then are these inappropriate things that you did?
Well, I'll give you an example, for instance. We just built new laboratories. We'd obtained almost £1 million. I took a large role in organising it. And, God, it's frightening. So we're talking about now, about 17 or 18 months ago, I got a little high. The clinical term for it would be hypomania. And I started sending letters, just telling people that there was going to be this opening. I sent them out to what, my parents,
sent them to every
family members.
single person you'd ever clapped eyes on.
Right, I'll invite so-and-so, right? Okay. So, the lights were on green. And, which, you know, in some ways is useful. If you are in a creative thing, I mean, research is very creative.
Yes, but not the way you were then.
No, that was a bit too much. Shall we move somewhere less cluttered?
If you moved out, we'd be less cluttered, wouldn't we?
Yep. You can stay in here and admire all my models if you want.
I do not get turned on by model aeroplanes.
Have you got it? Oh. Have that bit as well. How long do you reckon he's going to last? Jackie had 2 dogs when I met her. Completely undisciplined. I had to train them.
Can I talk to you?
I had to.
Outside.
Right, not completely true, is it?
No. Come here.
Right.
Right now.
Not being completely fair to Jackie, so
Try to make yourself big at my expense, I think.
well,
But I think part of it is because you're on your slightly high side of being normal at the moment, and you have been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So there is an element of behaving without thinking about the people.
So this is all down to mood disorder, is it?
No, it's not down to mood disorder, it's part of your personality, and your personality goes up and down, and there's times when you're very enthusiastic about things and you're focused on that. You said you'd take haloperidol this time. Well, I don't know whether you would or not.
You'd tips them a drink, wouldn't you?
Yeah, show you out your bum when you're asleep. The grounds for sectioning are if somebody is a danger to themselves, a danger to someone else, or if their health is liable to be at risk. On the grounds of affecting me, then you could have been.
But that was all part of a much more...
No.
It was.
The way you were behaving is you wanted me to do exactly what you wanted, all right?
That was all,
and you were right.
Okay.
Nobody else was.
That was all much...
And to get that, you threatened people. And if you couldn't threaten them, and I was the one that ended up getting threatened, you just discarded them. And that's what you did.
But it was all part of a much more complicated scenario, and I think you've got
It was
to
all
remember
part
that.
of you being hypomanic and not having the insight to understand what was happening and why people were upset by you. I don't know if one reason Alan didn't go into hospital was because I didn't jump up and down enough. And but I think part of me was thinking if I say things, then, you know, is he going to end up being sectioned?
I have to take my lithium. Very important. I do feel that, you know, it's been pretty stressful over the last 16 months. I do feel the lithium has probably helped. It hasn't been the only reason, of course it can't ever be the only reason, I think, but I think it's helped. So, just going to see what's happening with the back door. Come on. That's a good girl. Night night.
No, there's one there. I said some, not all. Oi! Oi! I want a bit of it as well, thank you. We didn't do a very good job on the packed lunch.
Pardon?
We didn't bring any drinks. We didn't bring any crisps.
You didn't bring any drinks and you didn't bring any crisps?
We didn't bring any chocolate biscuits.
That's all right, they'll melt.
I haven't got my swimming trunks in me.
Well, just wear those shorts you've got on, they'll do.
No, they're not swimming trunks. All right, Sam, do you want me to take you out? Only up to my knees, that's it.
You've got to hold him, Alan.
The last holidays that we had have all been when Alan's been ill.
Oh!
So he hasn't been this time, which is what you want on a holiday.
Kiss me, kiss, do it some more, come on. I'm so unused to it, it's so nice, you know. Once you've actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder or manic depression, it does affect how people assess your behaviour, because before then, there's never any thought in people's minds this behaviour is a little pathological. Not only in the back of other people's minds, but in the back of your own mind, there's always a question mark about, is this normal or abnormal? Who would like burgers?
Like a burger, Anna? Would you like a cheeseburger?
Anybody else want a hot dog? Chihuahua or Labrador?
Nicholas guy.
And we got married in a registry office, but I suppose I still think this sort of sickness and in health till death you depart sort of thing, you stick there with it. But you just sort of hang on in there because you know that's not him. That's the illness that is making him like that. I don't think I ever see Alan as a patient, because he's not. He's my husband.
That's why Mum and I got this one.
You can't say, go away, or I'm walking out on you and take the children with me or anything. That's just leaving somebody in a state of not being able to cope. And you can't do that. I can't.
I was helping at the national championships, and I was actually helping in the aerobatic section of the championships. And in the evening, we go in the hangar, and we fly indoor models. You know. And this funny-looking plastic-covered thing was there that was doing the most amazing aerobatics. I'd never seen anything like it. I didn't realise you could fly an aeroplane like that indoors. And this was the most aerobatic thing I'd ever seen.
I suppose the sort of thing about the job and finishing at the university, he's getting a settlement. He seems quite confident he'll get a job before Christmas. I don't know whether that'll happen or not, but we'll have to wait to see. I think that my way of dealing with that is not to think about it, really.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Right, okay.
Good news?
Well, you know, I've sort of started off this business, you know, the model business.
Yeah.
I'm importing some rather special models.
Right.
There's a guy in California.
This is the sophisticated video record system that we've got, right? It's the video from the people in the States. Well, I've edited it and all that.
How about this for a change of pace? It's called the IFO, which stands for Indoor Flying Object, and is built from composites and covered in mylar. If you're looking for a more laid-back style of flying for those calm days, this just might be the ticket for you.
We are the European distributors of this incredible aeroplane, and there is nothing else like it in the world. We have no competition. Not that I dislike competition, but there just isn't any. There isn't anything like this aeroplane. And it's our job now to realise the potential of this incredible machine. I've got two videos.
Okay, we have some.
Do you all know each other?
Yeah.
So you can swap them around, can't
Take
you?
them to school.
All right. Do you know where the name Answer Hobbies comes from? Alan, Nicola, Simon, Anna. And we wanted to get Jackie in, my wife, but I couldn't see how to fit Jay in easily. So we left it as Answer. Here is the World Aerobatic Champion, the man who won the Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas a few months ago. He's flying IFOs. Got them from us.
So how is everybody?
Well, I think I'm sort of frighteningly well, and sort of, if I ever stop to think about it, it sort of worries me. I think, well, I must be manic or something.
Yeah.
What's to be frightened of?
Well, I mean, frightened that you might overstep the mark and ruin some of that potential that's there, you know.
It's a wonderful epithet that my brother came up with. He said, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room.
I think, though, if you're married with family, it's much more difficult to be living on the edge. You can't have the sort of lifestyle that you have at the moment.
As a father, you have a responsibility to not let yourself get in that situation again.
Where's this? Why don't we take this? No, not in that.
Yeah, is that your toothbrush?
No.
Okay.
I think you should get a proper job.
What do you mean by a proper job?
A proper job, like another university job.
I mean, he's still doing a proper job. It just happens to be a self-employed proper job.
Yeah, so he doesn't get
I'm
any money.
self-employed.
Lovely weather outside. Just right for indoor flying.
What do you mean when you say Dad doesn't listen to you?
This is Dad. Traveller. This is someone in the family. And this could be you.
Or you. Think about you.
I say, Dad, Dad, and then he says, shut up.
Dear.
I don't want to get depression. I don't really worry about it. But I mean, I think sometimes, yikes, I hope I don't end up like him. Oh, I wish he wasn't my dad.
I said Alan Levy and everything, but I didn't say Answer Products International. Maybe he didn't twig, I don't know. I didn't see this as any other thing but just sort of two individuals coming and flying aeroplanes. Now, there might be IFOs. We didn't bring a trade stand. We came along as individual flyers.
We only come as individual flyers. We've got no trade stand here at all.
We just brought a few aeroplanes with us.
3 airplanes.
Just like Neil Stainton, you know.
You know, I mean, we're not selling stuff. It's not cheap.
They do, I'm afraid. I mean, sometimes, occasionally, we do a motor, gearbox and prop. Right, I've got to move some things if I'm going to get in the car. After this one and now.
Alan? So where are we going?
I'll tell you.
Well, if you don't tell me, I don't know what I need to wear, do I?
I'll wear something nice. It's our anniversary after all.
So somewhere posh or smart?
Medium posh, but you always look posh, darling.
So I can stay in trousers?
I'd rather you come out of them. I mean, right, well, yes, you can do.
Take your coat off, you look stupid.
That's what it's like being a father. Everything you say is stupid.
No, it's not. It's just what you're like being a father.
Do you want that lemon? Can you ask for a Coke with ice and lemon for Nicola, please?
First of all, have a little more bread, please?
Yeah, can I just
Yeah, sure.
yes,
Sure.
I'll come back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Well, this new legislation that's coming out is talking about compulsory treatment orders for people in the community, which there's a lot of...
Could we have, number one, a little more bread, please? There's some nice bread that came with the mussels, and we just wondered if we could have some...
I mean, the other side of it is compulsory detention of people with personality stroke psychopathic disorders, which is very, very worrying. I don't know how you can police compulsory treatment orders, and it's not allowing people to say, no, this isn't what I want. Somebody who has a medical problem.
Just a minute, I'm not with it here.
For people with psychiatric disorders.
Anything else I can get you at all?
No, we're fine.
Okay, enjoy your meal.
Thank you very much. Right.
I think I'm going to
That's what, sweet?
Do you like Anna, or Anna's like you? She asks a question. If she doesn't get the answer she wants, she keeps asking and going on and on about it. It's exactly the same as you do.
She's got my genes.
What about carrots? He's not having any more.
He's just a greedy pig.
Yeah, we're sharing, aren't we?
Yes.
Are you waiting for us to order puddings?
That's excellent.
Can we have
I'll have a coffee,
snack
please.
basket?
Anybody
Just
want
a
a coffee?
bit. Alan, could you just wait, please?
We'll have to wait. Sorry.
Right. This is sort of a passion fruit or something, isn't it? I'm not sure about this.
Strawberry.
So you say that you're still
I
a
think
sufferer?
being a manic depressive is like being an anorexic or an alcoholic. You're never an ex-manic depressive. Depends what you mean by recovery. 30% of people have one episode and never have another one. And 70% of people have more than one.
An episode being any episode of mania or depression. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And being a manic depressive gives you a lot of insights and sensitivities that people who haven't had the experience of being manic depressive don't have.
Do you feel you're at risk these days, Alan?
I think I'm at risk of going a bit high.
Because you're doing so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if things are going and things are sort of, you know, quite exciting, I think there is a risk of going a bit over the top.
Okay. Just get a piece of our lot, and I'll take it there, around the side, okay? Another piece there. Okay? You need to use the high frequency one, 130 kilohertz. We're not being organised here. Right? Hello, Karen. 07866.
Yeah, have you got special boxes for the mini IF?
NICAD. Now, it will not last very long, okay? It will only last you a few minutes. What?
Oh no, you wrapped the IFO in it.
Excuse me, the mobile's going. We're getting them from Germany. I ordered them yesterday, but they won't be here until, I would say, post. They'll be here after Christmas. What? This phone is temporarily unavailable. Because we can't have this sort of handmade business, you know. Simon, where are you? Right, try and keep things together, all right? Because if they get all over the place, you won't know where things are. So many phones here, I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, that's the best one I've seen. Right, so that one's done.
I never felt he was a threat to the children, and I think if I had done, that's a different ball game. You know, if he gets another episode of being hypomanic.
There's ice on the grass. out in the grass when it's nearly dark on a January afternoon, I have no idea. It's completely confusing to me. Apart from the fact Jackie asked me to do it. Apart from that, I don't know why I'm doing it. Seems a crazy thing to do. But then perhaps I'm crazy. That's it. Yeah. Hello? Anna?
Someone's on the phone for you.
Who is it?
I don't know, they didn't say.
Is it about IFOs?
I think so.
Which phone? The mobile? No.
Normal.
Right.
Manic depression is something that you are. It's not something that you get. It's not something that you catch. It's not something that develops. It's something that I've always had. There's no such thing as before. Manic depression is something that subsists in manic depressives and only gets noticed when people have pathological episodes. And if you have a number of them, then you get a diagnosis of being a manic depressive. There are some people who will point to individual traumas which may have triggered off the start of their pathological episodes. And there may be a lot of people out there who are potential manic depressives and who've just never had the developmental or psychological or traumatic trigger to set it off.
I feel the environment's going to play a role as well. If they're in an environment that's very stressful, or parents who are forcing them into doing certain things, that may combine with a slight genetic susceptibility, but they may come out into manic depression. So it's going to be some sort of interplay between all these things.
I was put in a pink room. You're supposed to stay on your ward, but I always used to go off walking. I used to walk through all these different rooms and into people's offices and read people's postcards.
There's a simplistic view that manic depression is an illness which you treat with drugs, and if you no longer take the drugs, then you're no longer ill. And that's not the case. While they're useful, I'll take the drugs. For me, it's much more important working towards being more at peace with myself, happier with my own life, so that I'm not so affected by my moods. Being diagnosed with a mental health problem is the start of a voyage of self-discovery.
Just call me Yoda.
Yoda.
Yoda? No, there is. I mean, once you get a degree of insight, there is a learning process as you you begin to understand your own reactions and get to know yourself better and understand perhaps things that happened in the past, in the light of the fact that you realise that you're a manic depressive. There is a period where it can feel constricting, that you have to control yourself and be aware of what's going on. But there does reach a point where that becomes almost second nature, where, like Jane says, she knows when she's going out.
You can't live in fantasy land. I think when I have been ill, I've been so lacking any sense of reality. I've come through that, and there have been other times when I've been suicidal and I've come through that. You know, I have been living in the real world, and I'm gradually coming to grips with it. I mean, I'm not completely out of it, but I'm coming through it, and I kind of want to say, well, yes, you can be incredibly ill, but yes, you can be better. Yes, you can function. There is hope.
At the end, that is the river. That's the Avon River. Of course, most people are going to have a further episodes of being depressed, and further episodes of mania or hypomania. It's a cycling disorder. The mood goes up and down.
What happened when he was high, though, I was sort of feeling very out of my depth. And asking the psychiatrist if I could sort of just come and talk to him, because I just felt I was sort of floundering, really.
So would you have said you were clinically depressed, or what would you say?
Yes. Yes, I was.
You were what?
I was then. But it was very strange. It really just suddenly came on. It was sort of like a curtain, and you were sort of behind it and sort of seeing everything very, very detached. I had some antidepressants, which were most peculiar. And they do most strange things to your thinking processes.
And I think he only had them for about 4 to 6 weeks, and I don't think they made an apeth of difference. It was for 2 weeks, I think. It wasn't a huge length of time. I mean, I did stay on the antidepressants, but I don't think they made I don't think they made any difference. I stayed on them because my training tells me you have to stay on them. But,
Your personal experience lets you,
makes
you doubt your clinical, medical, biomedical approach?
Yes. Well, yes and no. I mean, there are people I know who, well, no. You could get, aren't you? Now Alan has really got into this business. He is exhibiting the same behaviour pattern that preceded him getting depressed each time, which is working and working and working. Ending up with everything revolving round his agenda. And if you try and change that agenda, the only way you can do it is to get upset and have sort of shouting and screaming, because otherwise he doesn't seem to be able to listen. The bottom line is that we're still ending up with this behaviour of work. It has to take priority over everything. You know, if you can't be bothered to make a change, it makes you think, why should I support you? So I don't know. Yes, you're gorgeous, but you're not. No, off.
I think it's the actual stick, it's the actual controller.
That's strange, isn't it? Frighteningly twitchy. Bloody hell, fire. All right, Simon.
I'd say the quality of the tone is much better than you normally get. It's not beeps, is it? It's music. It's just the choice of tune that's bad.
Is that me?
Hello, Nicola.
Are the plugs off? Yeah? There's nothing you can do. It's too late to be watching television anyway. It's 9:15, right? And Mum's home, is she?
What?
Oh, why is Mum home? Mum's home. She was meant to be coming home on Friday. All right, okay. All right, bye.
Why is Mum home?
Mum's home because probably she wants to go to the court tomorrow. And she's not supposed to be coming home until Friday. But she's come home now.
That is awful. That's really awful.
I really enjoyed this evening.
I was on the way back down from Grimsby on the M1. Jackie phoned me up and she said, I'm closing all our bank accounts, left me with £800 to live on.
I'll make Matt some food. Do you want some food?
She accused me of repeated physical and mental abuse. I mean, that is just such a load of rubbish. I have to say, though, there was one episode. I think we'd had an argument one evening. We went up to the bedroom. I threw her pillow out of the window onto the top of the garage roof. She climbed out to get the pillow, and I closed the bedroom window so she couldn't get back in. That was when I was hypomanic. I was not seeing things properly.
You're not going to sleep in your room tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sleeping on the floor.
I probably did shout at her that she's not coming back in the bedroom, you can climb down the tree. And she did. I never expected, though, that it would become part of a divorce petition.
I thought Simon was just going to come here a second.
Even more of a shock, I was accused of physical and mental abuse of my children.
I wish it wasn't happening, Simon. But it does seem to me, doesn't it? And I wish it was different. But there doesn't seem to be any way of making it different, I'm afraid. The more I've tried as hard as I possibly can. Okay.
Can I remind you the conversation Kate had with you, please, Alan?
Well,
no, I need to remind you. I need to remind you about that.
I'm only in favour of telling the truth, Jackie.
No, I need to.
I didn't start this whole divorce business.
By Kate, not say things to him, but he didn't need to know.
Jackie, Kate doesn't.
Alan, I'm sorry, but that is not.
Kate doesn't actually have any legal power on what people say. This is a free country. You know, it's like a communist regime. You just sort of close off everything, don't you? I mean, you talk about not listening, but you're not listening to anybody else at the moment. Yeah. Kate can say what she wants, Jackie. I mean, Kate also said there's no physical abuse, as you know. It's quite clear. If you put a block on what goes in and what goes out, it doesn't reflect real life. The whole point about this documentary is it's reflecting life. Because I think that life is life, isn't it? Life is life. Life is filmed. And life is what goes in the film. Are you feeling a bit intrusive, or I don't know? Or what?
Well, I just feel a bit caught in the middle.
But isn't that part of documentary?
I found out in April that Jackie had been having an affair with the gardener. Stupidly, I decided to go and visit this guy. I knocked on the door of his house, and he opened it, and he looked at me, and he said, "What do you want? You are a bloody nutter. And worse than that, you're a fucking violent nutter. You ought to be in a bloody mental home. Have you got a problem? Because I was diagnosed with manic depression. Do you understand anything about what this illness is?" "I'll tell you what I understand. You've beaten up your wife and you've been beating up Nicola. Just see how you like it being on your back on the ground, you nasty nutter. I'll tell you the best thing you can do. Go and top yourself. Give us all a break."
I keep sort of pinching myself and thinking, this is a nightmare, isn't it? I'm going to wake up in a minute. The fact that my wife could ever even contemplate applying for an injunction to keep me away from my own home. Very early, Jackie? The more I think about this, the more totally incredible it is. What I'm saying to you is I think we can give ourselves a chance, can't we? Right?
You're the person, Alan, who has to change.
Well, I think we both have to change, Jackie, because the way you are at the moment...
You have to stop bullying people.
Jackie, we both have to change. A relationship is about two people. I mean, Jackie, you know, I never hit the children. You're the one who's always hit the children.
Hello.
Okay? And there is documented evidence of that. I'm not interested in lying to people. I'm not interested in people telling people untruths. I'm not interested in pulling the wool over people's eyes just to make them feel better. Everybody deserves to know the truth. Right? Okay. Right. Now, I'm trying to give you...
Oh, stop it. You're not trying.
I'm trying... I'm
suffocating in front of the camera.
No, I'm not. Oh, right.
Go away.
Nicola gets it.
Go away.
Really
Leave me alone and go away.
Bitch.
Go away.
You really are. Kiss before we go then?
Well, why not?
Before Alan got the sort of depression and the hypomania, there was always times when he'd get ideas fixed in his head and he'd you'd be focused, and to actually move you off the rails you were going on to do something else was hard work.
Makes you wonder how we stayed married, doesn't it, really?
Intolerant.
Don't you think? Well, yeah. Yes.
Bedtime. Okay?
How exciting. You know what? I know it's terrible at the moment. Let's face it, what more can you have destroyed than your job and your marriage and family life? That's almost everything in life. I'm not looking at it like that because I actually enjoy Answer Products and the challenge that that has more than I did at the university. And it's not that I like being in control, but it is nice if someone rings up and says, oh, I've got these really cheap speed controllers. They're half the price you can get anywhere else, right? And you say, great, fantastic, let's go for it. If you want a demonstration of hypomania, you've got it right here.
What are you excited about?
Oh, sex. I'm really excited about the fact that Jackie and I are gonna make mad, passionate love every night for the next 6 weeks until the degree absolute comes through. We're gonna have 3 orgasms a night, and oh God, we're gonna go mad for it. And then the degree absolute will come through, and that'll be the end. No more sex. That seems to me to be a pretty good prospect. I think that's really highly realistic. I think tonight when I go home, she's going to say to me, "You want to come to bed then? Let's really go for it." Okay. And of course, she'll want to be on top, so she can control everything. And she'll tell me how long to go for and when to make her come, because she wants to control everything, I guess. She's going to have her man friend sleeping with her at home, and there's going to be lots of moaning going on every night as they're humping each other. Oh God, Jackie, why do you have to have sex with this guy 4 times every night, you know? All right, Alan, you're not allowed to complain about that. Right, that's it, you're harassing me. You're harassing me for having sex every night with this guy. Right, I'm getting an injunction against you. Alan, you're harassing me. Oh God, Jackie, could we have a threesome? How about that? Alan!
Looking at what's happened, you'd have expected him to go into a deep depression, and he hasn't. And I'm hoping that the reason he hasn't is because of the lithium, and that is stabilising the mood, and it has the potential to stabilise it for years and years and years and years and years.
I think if I hadn't have been on lithium, I think I would have become depressed about it. I actually think lithium just stopped me going down too far.
Thank you. I guess I ought to tell you a bit about what happened in the court. The judge sat at the head of this very large table. She had a wig on. Well, she was like this. She was a woman, and she was going to speak very fast, and she was going to speak like a judge should, and she said things like this, and she said, well, I actually tend to believe Mrs. Levy, although Dr. Levy may actually truly believe himself that these things didn't happen. And I know that manic depressives sometimes their perception is simply not completely correct, although they're being quite truthful about what they're saying. You're going to ask me what happened this morning. We failed. 6 weeks and 1 day, Matt, I will be divorced. I'll tell you what, do you want to have a look at the,
Hello, my name is Alan Levy. Right. Okay.
Oh, we could show Matt a little bit of the film. See what you're truly like.
It's not appropriate at the moment.
Bad idea to show Matt.
I think there's probably just too much to cope with at the moment.
And he's coping rather well.
Hmm?
He's coping rather well, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we all are for some strange reason.
So, back home to the what's been called the previous matrimonial home. That's what Jackie's solicitor has called it. Something like that. What is it? The ex-matrimonial home. In other words, my bloody house. People don't really believe what you say. They think that the manic depression is somehow colouring your perception, and therefore what you say can't entirely be relied upon. I think even though she's a GP, she doesn't want a husband who's got a diagnosis of manic depression. She doesn't want a husband who's labelled as that. You know, one of the reasons I ended up leaving the university was simply because they had trouble coping because someone's got a diagnosis of manic depression, okay? When that happened at the university, Jackie was so upset and incensed about it, right? But you know, she's done exactly the same thing. You know, I think the very thing she was upset about the university behaving in that way, she's done exactly the same. I think I sort of hate her, actually. I mean, that's all part of love, isn't it? I've loved her for 16 years. I don't lose that love. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, hello, darling. How are you? Oh, I'm just wonderful. I'm so pleased for you that you got the result that you wanted. Congratulations. How are you?
Okay.
Have you heard what happened today?
Mum told me.
Yeah.
Sort of like.
Come here, have a cuddle. I don't know. Today, Mum said that she might be trying to ban me from the house because she feels that I'm trying to manipulate you and...
What does manipulate mean?
I don't know. Manipulate means like try and force people to do things or something like that. Could you go up, please? We're talking to Simon and Anna.
I think this is something altogether.
No, Simon's talking to me. He's had a chance to talk to you. Can you respect my wishes? And not railroad over everybody as you do normally. Do you know what the truth is? The truth is that you can't blame one person for it, can you? That's the truth. I love you, dear.
I know.
I better go and just collect some things, Simon.
Where are you going?
I don't think you're nasty.
Night, night, Nicola. Nicola.
Really?
Right, I'm going to count to 10.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, you can at least be pleasant. If you can't, I shall remove the mains lead from that computer.
All right, night, night, whatever.
That's sort of acceptable. Jackie said to me, "Are you all right?" I just found it incredibly cynical. No, she's able to do that because now she feels she's in complete control of it. So now she can be sort of, I can't think of the word, but it's almost like a doctor-patient relationship or something. Now that she's got the sort of
if we look at it in the cold light of day, there I was, a successful, accomplished, well-known university heart researcher with a nice wife, a nice house, 3 children, a nice family life. Here I am. I have lost my university research career. I'm now divorced. I just appeared to have lost everything.
People change all the time, don't they? Really? Depending on what's happening to them.
Yeah.
Well, in a way. People stay basically the same, but everybody's affected by events, I suppose. What about you? Are you going to change?
When everything starts to bring me down, I take the motorway out of town to fix the trouble in my mind. There are people trying to call me back, but I'm heading off the beaten track. It's time to leave it all behind. Don't look at the road map and I don't read the signs.